Enter a chance to win a copy of Guardians of the Galaxy. For this giveaway, it'll be exclusive to the PS5. All you have to do to win is subscribe and leave a like and a comment on this video. Hey everyone, it's Abyss, and I'm going to go over 7 quick tips that you need to know in Guardians of the Galaxy. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the damage multiplier. So when you're fighting enemies, you'll notice that ×1, ×2, it's right at the top of the enemy's health bar at the right where I'm pointing at right now. This can go all the way up to 5, but not all abilities will add a damage multiplier. So you have to test it out and see which abilities will work on an enemy and add that damage multiplier. This is extremely helpful when you're fighting against a mini boss or maybe an enemy that has an extra health bar, or maybe they have a stagger bar. I'm going to show you right now one of the mini bosses that I'm fighting, but I'm going to go through each one of my allies' ability that will add that damage multiplier. And as I go through each one of them, you're going to see it go up to 1, to 2, to 3, and then when it finally gets to 4, then I'm going to use Star-Lord's ability and just shred a full health bar off that enemy. This is what I'm talking about as a game changer, when you know what abilities will stack that damage multiplier, and it will help you out tremendously when you're fighting like a tough boss or maybe a mini boss that has a couple health bars. Knowing what abilities will add to that damage multiplier will help you out tremendously. Next, let's talk about staggering enemies. So Drax is probably one of the best when it comes to staggering enemies. His first ability that he starts off with does heavy stagger damage. When you get to chapter 7 and you unlock your electric element for your gun, that does good stagger damage. And you can also unlock your charge shot, which does really good stagger damage. So with those 3, you can easily stagger an enemy. You'll know when you're staggering them is when underneath their health bar, a white bar will start to fill up. Once it goes all the way full, they will go into a staggered state, and this is when you'll be able to do even more damage. The good thing is, when you apply that state to an enemy along with that damage multiplier, both of them stack. So when I was showing you the damage multiplier, as I was fighting that enemy, I was getting it all the way up to 4, and then I staggered them at the same time. That's how I was able to shred off a full health bar, by getting that damage multiplier up to 4 and getting that enemy into that staggered state. Having both of those stack does a tremendous damage. So just remember, Drax is extremely good at staggering with his first ability. You can use your electric element for your gun. You can also use your charge shot. Now the other Guardians do have an ability that does stagger damage, but that is the third one and it will cost you 3 ability points. I do recommend that you kind of invest one of your Guardians with that, because that will help trying to stagger enemies early on. But just remember, you want to try to get that damage multiplier up and stagger the enemy at the same time, and then you'll do tremendous damage with both of them together. Next, we're going to talk about the huddle and how to pick the right answer. Even though there's a 50-50 shot at it, there is a way to pick the right answer by paying close attention to the background. You're going to see a couple words come up like everything right now, and then run just came up. So when the 2 options come up, we want to look for everything and run in that option. So the one on the right has run and it has everything. So that's how you know that is the right answer. But after a couple dozen times of doing this, you'll probably get to the point of, how can we speed this up? Or is there a way that we can just do this a little bit faster? Well, the good news is there is a way to speed this up. So when you pause the game and you go into your settings, you want to scroll down to difficulty, and then you want to scroll down to Huddle Auto Win. You can actually turn this on and you will automatically win every single time. So that is one way to speed this up just a little bit instead of trying to figure out exactly what is the right answer. But if you don't want to do the auto win, just pay close attention to the words that come up in the background and then look for those words in the answer, and that's how you know you got the right one. Okay, so there's another setting that I recommend that you adjust once you go to controls. Then you're going to go to control schemes, and at the very bottom where it says Guardians mode and Peter's abilities, you want to change that from hold to press. So this way when you bring up the Guardians mode, which is L1, you have to just press it and you don't have to hold it down the whole time, which can be a little bit annoying while you're in the middle of combat. So change it to press so that when you press it, it'll stay up the whole time until you select something, or you press it again and then it'll go away. All right, so we just got a couple more things to talk about. So next, to the left of the enemy's health bar is going to be an icon. That icon represents whatever the element that that enemy is weak to. So we have 4 different elements. We have ice, electric, wind, and fire. So whenever you see that icon, just match it up, and that's the element that you want to use against that enemy. All right, so next, this also applies to shields. But the difference with the shield is certain enemies will have a different color shield. So if you see like a white shield, that means that shield is weak to ice. If you see a blue shield, that means that shield is weak to electric. So you can color code the shields to whatever the element that is weak to. But if you don't use the right element on that shield, it's going to feel like you're shooting a potato gun against that shield. And then when you switch to the right one, it will go down 10 times faster. So make sure you have the right element by color coding it or matching up that icon. And the last thing I want to talk about is the L3 for Star-Lord's abilities. Normally you're going to press the L1 left bumper for the Guardian's abilities, which will bring up that quick menu. And you can also press from there the L3 and now it'll go right into Star-Lord's. So that means you press the L1 to L3. But instead of doing that extra L1, you can just press the L3 and that'll bring you right into Star-Lord's abilities. So the only reason why I'm mentioning that is whenever I would go into the Guardian mode by pressing the L1, I typically would forget about Star-Lord's abilities because I would mostly just focus on the other 4 guys. So just remember, you can actually just bring up a separate menu by just pressing the L3 and that'll go right into Star-Lord's. Alright, there you have it. Those are the tips and tricks you need to know in Guardians of the Galaxy. If there's any other tips and tricks you would like to add, then please leave them in the comments down below. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to help support the channel, and I'll see you next time.